Welcome to Story Planet, where we bring you relaxing tales to help you unwind. Tonight's story is The Peaceful Woods. So, settle in, imagine packing your essentials, and prepare for a peaceful journey into the heart of the forest, where nature's calm awaits. Let the woods wrap you in their quiet embrace as we begin. Linda had always felt a pull toward nature. Growing up in the bustle of the city, the chaos and noise often felt like too much. Her fondest memories as a child were those quiet moments spent with her grandmother, sitting in the garden at the edge of town, listening to the wind rustling through the trees and watching birds dart through the branches. Those moments had been a sanctuary for her then, and as an adult, the same longing for peace and quiet crept into her life once again. The city had provided her with everything she needed, or so it seemed, but something was missing, a deeper sense of fulfillment that couldn't be found in the routine of modern life. After years of living in the fast lane, working long hours, chasing goals, and accumulating more than she needed, Linda decided to leave it all behind. She wanted simplicity, peace, and a connection to the earth that felt real and tangible. The forest had called to her in her dreams, and one day she decided to answer. It took months of preparation. She read countless books on wilderness survival, took courses to learn basic skills like setting up camp, fishing, hunting, and foraging. She practiced building fires with flint and learned to purify water from streams. But more than that, Linda knew she had to prepare mentally. This wasn't just about living in the wild. It was about finding peace within herself. She needed to leave behind the stress, the competition, and the constant striving for more. Finally, after months of planning, the day came. With a backpack full of essentials, just enough food and supplies to last until she could rely on the land, Linda left the city and ventured into the forest. She was excited, but also nervous. She wasn't just going for a weekend. She intended to stay for weeks, maybe even months. She longed for the quiet, for the solitude that only the forest could provide. As she stepped onto the trailhead, the noise of the world began to fade. The rustle of leaves, the distant trickle of a stream, and the chirping of birds were the only sounds that greeted her. She walked slowly, taking in the sights and smells around her, feeling the weight of the world lift from her shoulders with each step. Linda found a spot to set up her first camp in a small clearing by the edge of a stream. The water flowed clear and cool over smooth stones, and the canopy of trees above her provided a gentle shade from the late afternoon sun. She pitched her tent, gathered wood for a fire, and sat down to watch the world around her. There was no rush here, no pressing need to accomplish anything. The forest moved at its own pace, and Linda was content to move with it. The first night in the forest was peaceful. Linda lay in her tent, listening to the soft hum of the night, crickets chirping, the distant hoot of an owl, the gentle rustle of wind through the trees. She had never felt so at ease, so connected to the world around her. As the days went on, Linda learned to live off the land. She spent her mornings fishing in the stream, learning the rhythm of the water and the patience required to catch her meals. She cooked her fish over an open fire, savoring the simplicity of a fresh, warm meal that she had caught herself. Foraging for wild berries and nuts became a daily ritual, and soon Linda found herself able to recognize edible plants and roots hidden in the underbrush. But it wasn't always easy. One night, the temperature dropped unexpectedly, and Linda found herself shivering in her sleeping bag. She realized that she hadn't gathered enough wood for the fire to last through the night. The cold crept into her bones, and sleep was elusive. The next day, she adjusted her routine. She gathered larger stones to heat by the fire and placed them inside her tent to keep her warm. She learned to collect extra firewood before nightfall, ensuring she had enough fuel to last through the darkest hours. Slowly, she adapted, and the cold no longer seemed like a threat. The rain was a different test altogether. One afternoon, dark clouds rolled in, and the soft drizzle quickly turned into a heavy downpour. Linda watched as the water soaked her camp, turning the ground to mud and extinguishing her fire. At first, frustration bubbled up within her. Her tent was drenched, and she felt helpless against the force of nature. But then she remembered her training. She had brought a tarp, and with some quick thinking, she fashioned a makeshift shelter using branches and rope, draping the tarp over her tent to protect it from the worst of the rain. As she sat under her shelter, listening to the rain fall around her, Linda felt a sense of triumph. She was learning, adapting. Nature had its challenges, but it also had its rewards. When the rain finally stopped, the forest was alive with new sounds. The drip of water from the leaves, the soft rustle of animals emerging from their hiding places. The air was fresh and clean, and the world felt renewed. Linda's week in the forest soon became 2, and then 3. Each experience taught her something new about herself, about her strength, and about the world around her. She moved her camp to different terrains, setting up near rocky cliffs one week, and deep within the thickest part of the woods the next. Every place had its own challenges, its own beauty. She learned to navigate the forest with ease, to find the best spots for fishing, the hidden groves where wild berries grew, the secret pools where she could swim and bathe under waterfalls. The more time she spent in the forest, the more Linda realized how little she needed to be truly content. She had left behind the noise, the clutter, the constant striving for more, and found peace in simplicity. She had food, water, shelter, everything she needed to survive. And more than that, she had the forest itself, the quiet, the stillness, the sense of being part of something much larger than herself. As the days passed, Linda began to ask herself why people competed so much in life. Why did we constantly chase after more money, more possessions, more status, when we needed so little to be happy? The forest had taught her that life could be simple, that we could live with less and still be fulfilled. Wealth is important, she thought one evening as she watched the fire crackle. But why do we let it rule us? Why do we chase after it, only to find ourselves exhausted and unsatisfied? If I had wealth, it should not make me run or rule over my life. Instead, I should rule it and have only what is needed. She realized that life wasn't about accumulating more, but about finding a balance between what we need and what truly matters. Wealth was important, yes, but so was health. Eating natural, fresh food, living in harmony with the earth, these things brought a deeper kind of wealth. Being healthy meant being able to earn your own bread in any way you chose, not by running in the rat race, but by living simply and fully. By the time Linda emerged from the forest, she was a different person. The world outside the trees seemed busier, louder, but she carried with her the lessons she had learned. She knew now that she could live with less, that peace and fulfillment came not from wealth or success, but from living in harmony with nature, with others, and with herself. As she walked out of the forest and back toward the world she had left behind, Linda paused for a moment. She turned back, looking at the trees that had sheltered her, the streams that had provided her with water, and the earth that had supported her every step. She took a deep breath, feeling the fresh air fill her lungs one last time before she returned to the world beyond. "I'll never forget this," she whispered softly to herself. "The forest has given me more than I could ever repay." With that, Linda turned and began walking down the road, the lessons of the forest firmly in her heart. She would carry them with her always, a quiet reminder of what truly mattered in life: peace, health, simplicity, and the deep connection to the natural world that had given her so much. The forest had changed her, and for that, she was forever grateful. As Linda emerged from the forest and back into the world, she carried with her a newfound peace and wisdom, a deeper understanding of life's true simplicity. Her journey in the wilderness had reminded her of what truly matters: kindness, simplicity, and the beauty of living in harmony with nature. And now, as her story draws to a close, I hope it brought you the same sense of calm and reflection. If you enjoyed this peaceful journey with Linda and found something within her story that resonates with you, consider giving this tale a thumbs up so that more listeners can discover it and find their own moments of stillness. If you think this story is worth sharing, feel free to pass it along to friends and family who could use a gentle escape at the end of their day. And if you haven't already, you're invited to subscribe to Story Planet, where each day brings a new relaxing tale, crafted to help you wind down and find peace. Feel free to mail us your feedback for the betterment of this channel, so we can relax you even better every day. Thank you for joining us on this journey. Wishing you a peaceful night and the calmest of dreams.